Thank you. So first of all, a very good morning to everyone. I, CA Gaurav Mishra, Chairman of the Prayagraj branch of ICAI, on behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee (ICI), welcome all the participants in today's webcast on innovation skills for chartered accountant. As of now, we can see that during the market scenario or going the market trends, the innovation is very important perspective in terms of any skills. You can say that from the artificial intelligence, from excels, from all, you can see that these things are very important. I also welcome to CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, Chairman in absentia, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, CA Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson of this committee, today's resource person, and our learned speakers here, Nili Bhatt sir, and the event enablers from our Prayagraj branch. Before before going through, let me just introduce and the objective of this particular webinar, why this is important, and why this particular committee has been formed. It's innovation skill for the chartered accountant, which includes the digital acumen, data analytics, critical thinking, advisory, mindset, sustainability accounting, and specialized technical skills in disruptive technologies. Developing these skills can help accountant stay ahead, and continuing education courses focusing on critical thinking and innovations can facilitate their ability to keep up with the development in the profession. With the objective of this, let me just introduce our learned speaker, Nili Bhatt sir. So Nili Bhatt sir is a senior finance professional and qualified chartered accountant with valued professional experience in dealing with various domains with accounts, finance, reporting, budgeting, and forecasting, having sound experience of Oracle-based ERP, cross-functional knowledge, and a strong business acumen in infrastructure, construction, and heavy industry sector. No doubt these sectors plays a very important role in any of the country's development. He participated and contributed in few multi-million profitable ventures for the organizations throughout the career span, with all organizations well versed with the working in matrix structure with the different reporting levels and multiple KRAs. Demonstrated people development skills by practicing modern management tools like balance scorecard, zero-based budgeting, and Kaizen costing throughout the professional career. Now, without delaying much, I'll request and I'll hand over the entire session to Nirli Bhatt sir to please take out this take out this particular session on the innovation skills. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, CA Gaurav Mishra ji, Chairman of the Prayagraj branch of CIRC of ICAI and your team. My profound gratitude to in absentia to Professional Skills Enrichment Committee of ICAI Chairman CA Dr. Anuj Goyal sir, Vice Chairperson CA Sri Priya Kumar Madam for this opportunity, and I always appreciate and applaud the efforts of CA Dr. Sambit Kumar Mishra ji and his entire team for facilitating all the logistic arrangement. Good morning, friends, because I am in Doha, Qatar. We are 2.5 hours behind from you. But depending on the location from which you are going to view this webcast, please accept my greetings and felicitation for all of you. So thank you very much, CA Gaurav for this wonderful introduction. I think it's my professional commercial profile what is there. I also been very privileged to serve as the chairman of Doha chapter of ICAI, the oldest overseas chapter of ICAI in 2021 and 2022, and prior to that 6 years into the management committee. And this is my second webcast, so I should be thankful again to the committee. I also happen to be the first overseas speaker to speak on this particular forum, which was actually second webcast of this PACC of ICAI. And there I spoke on the networking skills, which was attended by 2,700 CAs from 13 countries And I'm sure that by this webcast or by YouTube, we will certainly break the record. So thank you again. And Sambiji, I will share my screen now. And just Sambiji, please interrupt immediately when Chairman sir or Vice Chairman madam or whoever the leaders join. So I will immediately interrupt and then they can address all of us. Sambiji, my screen is visible. The name of the committee and date. Full
Yes.
screen. Gauravji,
Yes,
full
sir.
screen.
So make it in the presentation mode, please.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, now?
Now it's okay.
Yeah, friends, so today we are going to discuss on the innovation skills, which is prevailing widespread within the corporate realm and it's including global and in India, and why it is important. What are the rules to hone the innovation skills? What are the techniques to further sharpen the skills, and how, as a chartered accountant, in our day-to-day life also we can do this, we can practice these innovation skills. Why is it extremely important? So we will deliberate upon it. We will make it interactive also. Gauravji, some of the feedbacks you can transfer to me, right? If I ask and somebody, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we will make it interactive. Yeah. So this is today's agenda, broad agenda. We will start from corporate case studies, importance of innovation skills for all of us. What are the stages in innovation? What do we mean by lateral thinking? Wonderful concept in the context of creativity and innovation. Types of the innovation, some illustration, and as I said, how to hone the innovation skills for we as chartered accountants. Yeah. So if you have any question, any perspective to share, any validation or even any disagreement, please feel free to type in the chat box available to you, and CA Gauravji will transfer to me. Yeah. And we will have a couple of interaction also where I will also be asking not so difficult questions. Yeah. So friends, this is just a kind of infographic on the wide area of innovation, and it is rightly called the success mantra in profession and beyond. Innovation is all about curiosity, harvesting the ideas, scouting. What do we mean by scouting? There is one word over here. Scouting means to gather the information from as many areas as we can. That's what we call as scouting. And of course, the definition of the problems at hand or what we are trying to innovate. And there's a wonderful phrase, a very catchy phrase, which is saying innovate or evaporate. So broadly, we will cover some of the cases from corporate words, some of the examples, some of the unique features of innovation, skills, what we as chartered accountants needs to imbibe, and how by being more innovative, we can add value not only to ourselves, but to also either to our organization if we are into industry, or to our clients if we are into practice. So regardless of the domain in which we are into, whether we are into internal audit or valuation or M&A or even just an assurance or attestation service, what in India it is called, or whether we are a newly qualified CS or into industry or in seasoned practitioner, or we are into startups, we cannot forget startups when we talk about the innovation. This particular skills is extremely important for all of us. And I'm sure that you will all agree to it with this and appreciate it. Let's start from one case study from a celebrated enterprise, if I may say so. We all know this enterprise is Adidas, right? What are the cornerstones of Adidas? So Adidas was a very leading shoe manufacturing company, a globally renowned enterprises. So what are the key characteristics if we talk about Adidas? First is the passion. Now, why I say the passion? Because Adidas was founded in 1924 by Adolf Dassler in Germany. From, you won't believe, it was started in his mother's room. So it was quite humble beginning. He was passionate about the sports. He himself was a sports lover and sports player, be it ice hockey, football, skiing, or various type of sports which they have in Europe, right? So this proves the point that a successful innovator, a successful entrepreneur, a successful professional has to be a passionate about what is he trying to do. Then only innovation can be fostered further. Listen to the customers, extremely important. What Adidas did when it was a renowned shoe manufacturing brand prior to 1954, which was a milestone achievement in his history, if you refer it. Adidas founder was not only a passionate sports lover, but he listened to all the athletes and sportsmen, right? He observed during his journey, and that's where the idea stems. He observed that all the sportsmen, all the athletes were wearing at that point of time more or less same kind of shoes. So it's not logical. Footballer need not to wear the same kind of shoes which, let's say, somebody into basketball or ice hockey wears, right? So that's what he observed. Then he reached out and then he listened to the problems of his prospective customers. He also employed a groundbreaking technology, which was quite new at that point of time. And that's how he made a mark. And of course, he strategically partnered with all the stakeholders. He took the validations and appreciation and endorsement, what we call the sports arena, from them. And that's how he was successful. As you know, the founder of another rival company, Puma, was brother of Adidas, right? So it's very interesting story as far as innovation goes. Each of the successful enterprises, and we will touch upon quite a few of them over here, will have few cornerstones due to which they have been able to stand out from its rivals and competitors and made a very niche position into the market. So if you understand the business model of Adidas, there are many good points, but these 4 points at least I found quite unique. An innovator, a professional or entrepreneur has to be quite passionate about his things, always listen to the customer, always understand that customer is the king, as we always see, embrace the technology, newer technology, continually keep on learning and evolving. And of course, like many other traits, innovation is also a collaboration. Innovation is also a strategic partnership. So this one example emphasizes the importance of innovation. Second one I have chosen is again very famous one, both A and A, Airbnb, right? So the full form of Airbnb is that Air, Bed and Breakfast, right? So this was founded in 2007. Now look at the timing. Why timing is very important as far as innovation is concerned. In the San Francisco in 2007, the two of the founders, the third one joined later on, they were there and they could not pay the rent of the San Francisco in which they went to participate in an event. That gave him an idea that, like two of us, there will be many, many people who travel to the different corners of the world, but are also cost effective in nature. So what is the way out? That led him to establish the concept of Air, Bed and Breakfast. Later on, it was shortened as an acronym to Airbnb, right? So the timing is very important. Their first customer was Indian, by the way, like all of us. Out of 3, 1 was Indian. Creativity. Friends, no innovation journey, no entrepreneurial journey, no startup journey, or no journey of any venture is without failures, right? But how you navigate through the failures is very important. And that's where your resilience, your ability to think differently, and your creativity will come into play, right? Why I say creativity is very important. Initial attempts for nearly 3 years to source the fund of this Airbnb all were failed, right? And they were into huge debt. Finally, what they did in US election, they came up very innovative idea to have pre-manufactured boxes, right? And which was with the photos of the leader or the candidates then, Obama and McCain. So Airbnb thought that rather than just promoting our products by email or by social media, let's say, it is also extremely important. They reached out to each and every stores with this pre-manufactured boxes, right? And there they sold it with the photo of Obama and the McCain. What for it? That's what the slogan for both of them, right? And that due to that, they could garner around 30,000 US dollar, which was fair enough for them to, which was probably their first funding. Later on, Sequoia Capital and many other entrepreneurs and the venture capitalized angel investors came to it. Some of them are till now, till the date, they're regretting. But before this breakfast box, there were 15 angel investors who rejected the proposal of Airbnb. Still, as you can see here, they never gave up the idea because they had profound belief on what they are trying to do. They think and they thought that what they were doing is perfectly all right. So the profound belief in your mission, in your vision is extremely important, right? And then rest is the story. It became unicorn in 2013, and another founder also joined, and now it is operating in, I think, more than 150 countries. So creativity is extremely important. Creativity and innovation are twins, if we may say so. Think big. When asked about the key takeaways from the success story of Airbnb, which is actually disruptive innovation, we'll see it later. The founder said that single most cornerstones of his success story is the ability to think big. Something similar, which Dhirubhai Ambani probably used to say, and Mukesh Ambani has already done it, right? He said that if any prospective or ambitious person who wants to set up an enterprise comes to him, he always say, come back to me after you envision 100 times from what you've done. 100 times, right? So you did not to worry at that point of time because thinking doesn't cost you anything, right? But you got to have that courage and that vision to be a successful innovator. So that's what the story from Airbnb. Cycle. As I said, the journey of innovation is not a standalone journey. You got to understand the importance of imagination, creativity, innovation, and then entrepreneurship. Whoever are into practice currently, they are all entrepreneurs in a way or two, right? So that even if you are into profession, right, the entrepreneur mindset also is extremely important. In fact, I used to say, I was a few months back, I was invited by MET University in Noida. So I addressed the students over there, higher grades. I mentioned it, that always have a look at your financials, not only from an accountant point of view, but also from an entrepreneur's and economist point of view also. To give you an example, we see that the numbers are drawn from historical concept, right? Economists will see that how the inflation is impacting my numbers, right? While accountants, I mean, we all are chartered accountants, but accountant for that matter, are interested in profit. Entrepreneurs are interested in value, right? So it's very important to have entrepreneurial mindset. So envision what does not exist. That's what is the beginning of any innovation journey. Apply the concept of creativity into it. Think differently. Think out of the box. Don't worry about that where outcome of the innovation will lead you at that point of time. Innovate something, apply creativity to develop the unique ideas. They say that, what is innovation is that you commercialize the creativity, right? You translate the thoughts into value. That's what we mean by the innovation, right? Either it can be in terms of the increase in top line, ensuring sustainability, or reduction in the cost, depending on the type of evolution which we are looking into. And finally you invent something new. All the startups which we are witnessing right now, although the number of unicorns have come down, as we all know, but that does not really tell about the thriving startup ecosystem which India has set up since 2014, right? Through various initiatives. So you see the increase in the number of startups, right? And if you see the history or the background behind each of the startups, right? It started from just one idea that I want to do something differently, right? Friends, we all can do something differently in every area in which we are into. Either we are into industry or we are into practice, right? For example, I'll touch upon later on. If we are into industry, there is very important skills which we all have to learn is the financial storytelling skills, right? It's just all about innovation. If we are into practice for that matter, okay, we all perform the internal audit, the risk-based audit of our clients. Okay, how about having agility while performing the audit? Again, it is related to innovation, right? So it's very important to understand this. Imagine something new. Don't leave any opportunity to imagine anything. Is not going to cost us anything. We all are cost conscious. Idea is also no one's monopoly, right? As they say. So this is the invention cycle. Importance of innovation here, if we see, right? So first is that it is future proofing. It future proofs the organization or an individuals. Why? Because impact of innovation is going to stay for many years, if not decades. It is going to leave the imprint on the organization or the individuals. For example, you all would have learned about the backward integration, and no prize for guessing that which is the most successful enterprise in India, which has practiced it very successfully, which has ensured a phenomenal, staggering growth. No prize of guessing, none other than Reliance, right? So the future proofing is very important for innovation, because if you have innovate an idea, a product, or a process, or a business model, as they say, you're going to proof your organization from any challenges from the VUCA world, as we all see, and you're going to thrive. Global expansion is another very important thing, because we are all living into the borderless world, right? The world is not limited to the geographical boundaries. Businesses are becoming borderless. Our interactions are becoming the borderless. One small example is that I am based out in Doha, Qatar, and I have been introduced by someone, a chairman sitting in Prayagraj, correct? And the entire technical setup is done here from New Delhi, right? So this is what the globalization, just a small example, instant example, what I've given to you. But importance of innovation is that in the wake of globalization, you will only thrive, right? As I said, commercializing ideas to value, right? Innovation, when it is successful, is going to add tremendous value to the top line, or will result into the reduction of the expenses, all will make you a successful entrepreneur or a professional. It is also customer centric and will give competitive edge, because we are talking about innovation, but as we know, innovation is also not everyone's cup of tea. It's not every, especially in the context of organization, it's not every organization's cup of tea. You got your culture of innovation. It demands paradigm shift from the way we think about the organization, the way we apply the innovation to realize our goals and mission. So those enterprises, you can think of any organization with this context. Think about Reliance. Okay. Think about Adani in India. Think about Tata for that matter. Think about many startups. Zerodha, Swiggy. Swiggy, I know now many of you will like Zomato, and it's also a listed company. But Swiggy is one of the most successful startups recognized from India, along with Oyo, by the global research agencies, right? So see the competitive edge which they are getting. So it's very important to realize the importance of being customer centric and achieving competitive edge as far as the innovation is concerned. And of course, the agility, as I said, among the changes and challenges. Situation was quite different, let's say 5 years back, or merely for that matter, 3 years back, just before the 4 years back, before COVID-19 hit us. It was completely different when a kind of 15 years back, right? When I qualified my chartered accountancy somewhere in 2007. 2007, yeah. I'm sure many of you have qualified much prior to me. At that time, we were adapting Tally for that, for just for example, right? ERP system were quite new to us. Somewhere in 2012, if I remember correctly, everywhere ERP, the basic ERP was replaced by very sophisticated SAP FICO module, right? After that, just before 3 or 4 years back, we had robotics into place, RPA. And now we are talking about, and it is already hit our places, what? AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you see, this is just one example how not only technology is transforming the entire finance and accounting domain, but the changes which is coming at every 3 or 4 years. So the past will not necessarily reflect into the future practices, right? That's why the agility, constant learning, constant evolving, adapting growth mindset is extremely important for chartered accountants. So is because today we are talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'm sure in 2030, we will be having sessions on some different topics. Quite possible. Probably Internet of Things will be a complete reality by then or even before. So see the changes. Changes were inevitable. Changes will be there. Only the organization and the individuals which are innovative can only navigate successfully through the changes and challenges. Main stages in innovation, right? So brief stages, I don't want to go into too much into theory into it, but first is the ideation and discovery, generation of the idea. That's what we mean by ideation. Build up from the scratch for the improvement of the organization. See that whether you are going to do something new, whether you are going to establish a completely new practice, or you are going to change any particular business model. So it's very important for organization to see that where the ideation and the discovery of the new idea will lead to it, right? So ideation and discovery. And as I said, idea is no one's monopoly. In fact, this is one of the barriers of the innovation, which we'll discuss later, that ideas can generate literally from anywhere, right? And it can also stem from anybody. It is not important, or it's not necessarily that only the CEO will, all the chairman will only have the ideas, and the person who is standing last in the row will not be innovative. No. On the contrary, sometimes it's quite different, right? So there should be culture where innovation and creative practices are celebrated. The cultural shift is extremely important. So ideation and discovery, it's there. So here timing is also important, as I mentioned about the Airbnb. You know, when iPod were launched by Apple, right? They waited for 3 years to launch the iPod, right? Until then, they were just doing the testing, prototyping, probably building the narrative, a very effective techniques, where before actual launch, to generate the greater volume, You build up the narrative, do the marketing, right? You discourage the existing practice so that the new practice will come into picture. So these are all the strategy which Apple is successfully, and many other organizations for that matter. You name it Tesla, you name it Uber, you name it Amazon, or many of the Indian enterprises also have done it. So ideation and discovery, and then second is the evaluation and selection. So not all idea will be successful. You don't discourage any idea. You don't discourage any creative thought, right? Assess the suitability of each of the idea. You are not going to question here in the second stage the quality of idea, let's say, right? But you are going to probably question if you evaluate the timing of the idea. Because if you question the quality of idea, the person who has innovated will be discouraged, right? Fear of getting failed is one of the biggest bottlenecks as far as being innovative is concerned. So don't discourage any idea, evaluate it in an objective manner, select it. Prototyping and testing, as we all know, prototyping is that implement it on a smaller scale. We all have seen that before launching in a full-fledged manner, how Amazon has started from a small town in US as a grocery shop or something, right? So that was a prototype. Then it expanded to few other states of US and finally to Europe and then to Asia, right? So all the successful enterprise, sometimes we cannot say it or we cannot translate it as a presentation. But if you see even the small organization or medium-sized organization anywhere, be it global or in India, they will not go full-fledged, to commercialize the innovation. They will go in an incremental manner, right? Test the water, as we say so, that whether this is going to be successful, what are the challenges, how we will overcome them, and then further expand it. So this is what we call by prototyping and testing, implementation and execution finally. So here the very important for this stage is that you got to have proper talent. Very important is also the funding, right? Because R&D expenses is one of the biggest components. In fact, they say that, the R&D expense is one of the discretionary expense in our accountants terminology, right? So it's a barometer by which you can say that whether an organization is innovative enough or not. So the funding is very important. Harnessing the talent is very important. And how you execute the idea and how you are going to commercialize. What is the type of your innovation, which we will see at a later point of time. This is important. Constantly you monitor it and review it about the whole process, about the outcome, and about you also decide at this stage, in monitoring stage, that whether you are going to go ahead with further innovation or you will stop it here for a time being. Or for that matter, is it required to take back some of the innovation and go back to status quo? But then you have to analyze the whole cause. It's not very desirable situation. Still, in real life, it happens. And finally, the scaling and integration. What do we mean by scaling is that after monitoring, use innovation as wide as possible. Again, to give you an example of backward integration, it was implemented by Reliance in the petrochemical business, but we will see now after a few slides that it was also implemented by Reliance when they established the Jio, right? So very successful, but by that they have taken the scaling of this innovation at a altogether different level, and integration of the innovation into the other products, other processes, other business models, right? So for chartered accountants, it's not only sufficient for us to know the Ind AS or income tax law, GST law, or the risk management and internal audit and many other domains. But it is also very important for us to know that how an organization typically functions. What is the pulse of the organization? Okay. What are the drivers of the organization and why it is successful or otherwise? Only if we understand it, then only we can suggest the area of improvement to our clients, and not only thereby creating value for them, but also expand our practice. So that's the whole idea, to explain the very learned audience all these steps. Yeah. Just 1 second. Yeah. I think Gauravji, we are going all right? Oh, okay. I thought.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So complementary stages in innovation is that main stage, but also, and Gauravji, you can also share your view if you feel anything, or we all are chartered accountants, we all are
Yeah,
professional
definitely, sir. Sure.
brethren. So yeah, please keep on sharing your feedback, or where,
Yes, yes.
or if you have any question also, and for that matter, anybody has, please, we will have it dialogue as much as possible. Refining and screening the idea is very important, because here you should know that which idea is going to be short-lived probably, and effect of which idea will be the long-lasting, right? Second important thing is the collaboration and communication. So as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to mention it again, no effective result can be achieved in this world, in the professional field, without collaboration. Collaboration is the key, and collaboration should not only be by the lip service that yes, we are collaborating, we believe in teamwork, but it should be there into the practice. You got to be open-minded. You got to be adaptive. You got to be adaptive to share your practices and with others. And as they say, don't believe in eating only cupcake, which is a smaller one, but eat together a fountain cake, right? So that's the analogy I always see somewhere. I heard it about the collaboration and communicate the importance of innovation. Great organization has the innovation strategy in place, right? And the funding, talent, from where ideas will be generated. Benchmark it, the ideas and the innovation with other enterprises of similar size and scale. Of course, then innovation has to be in alignment with the goals and mission and vision of the organization. Leadership and culture is very important, because it all flows from the top. So there should be culture which encourages and promotes the innovation and creativity. And of course, it should be a continuous. So, in alignment with in sync with the main stages, complementary stage we also have to understand. Just one quote here, and it's very important, for chartered accountants, somewhere our mind is fixed in that way, that we always see that past as the feature which will hold true also in the future. Past will not necessarily hold true for the future. So they say that John Keynes, a very famous economist, the difficulty lies not so much in developing new ideas as much as in escaping from the old ones, right? First thing when we do audit, what we do, give us the last year financial statement, right? So that is the base for us to perform it or to prepare the financials or whatever, right? Same case for the budgeting. When those who are into industry like me, when we make budget, we always see what are the actual numbers, and then we do the budgeting, except the case of the zero-based budgeting, where you assume that whatever the financial result or whatever the numbers which stems from the past will not be applicable or will not be helpful to us in preparing the budget for the future. I had established this practice in some of my companies. Some of the companies with which I work, it was quite successful. And it is very important for us, because say period like COVID, say period like financial crisis, or some seasonal downturn, at that time, past numbers will not hold true for the future. So this is one of the quotes. How to be creative now? So we started from taking cases of the leading enterprises. We try to learn something from it. Okay, how to be creative and innovative. Wonderful concept is called the lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is from the Edward de Bono. So he was the one who established this and popularized this concept of lateral thinking. What do you mean by lateral? Lateral typically means movement on the side way, right? So in the dictionary meaning of the lateral is there to move in an horizontal direction. In the context of thinking, lateral thinking is something which thinks about the out of the box ideas, which thinks about the radical thoughts, which thinks about the thoughts which are not generated from preconceived notions. It thinks about the ideas which does not have step-by-step solution, right? So this is very important to have the lateral thinking in practice. So there are two type of thinking or two type of thought processes which any individual has. One is the linear thinking, as far as creativity goes, and another is the lateral thinking. So let's understand this. This is the difference between linear thinking and the lateral thinking, right? So linear thinking is the systematic way of thinking. Lateral thinking is the out of the box. Linear thinking, so like if we have any problem and we want to solve it, okay, we rely on the conventional time-tested method, which were successful in the past. So we think that it will be successful in the future. Lateral thinking is applying completely unconventional and newer and novel ideas. Linear thinking relies on the established principles, doctrines, whatever we call, and traditional thought pattern, while the lateral thinking challenges the assumption and explore the alternatives. We'll see some examples also. But it's very important for all of us to understand and develop and to have the right mix of both linear and lateral thinking. As they say that utilize the both the left-hand side brain and right-hand side brain of the human, right? Logical listening, analytical ability, step-by-step solution, sequential solution are the cornerstone of linear thinking, but completely new, creative, out of the box thinking are for lateral thinking. As I said about the sequential manner, lateral thinking follows the spontaneous manner. So this is the difference between both of them. And it's not that only one particular thinking or only one particular way of solving the problem. Let me put in that way. Only one particular process to innovate something is no, it's not like that. Linear thinking.
So your screen is freezed.
Trends and the information which we have.
It's okay. Please continue.
Is ideal where slight glitch here on the internet problem. Ideal where trends or complete information are not available, right? So if we do, let's say, internal audit assignment of any of our clients, okay, now see this, what we are discussing here is not only, as I said, limited to entrepreneurs or those who are the founder of the startups, those chartered accountants, but all these are applicable equally if you reflect and introspect in any of the domains in which you are into, whether you are into valuation, whether we are into M&A, whether you are into forensic accounting, where critical thinking is extremely important in forensic accounting and auditing, or whether you are just into the internal audit. Earlier on my career, I had the privilege to be internal audit coordinator of one of the very big NGO, okay, where the funding size was 2,000 crore rupees, and I'm talking about in 2003. So you can imagine the whole project was aided by Asian Development Bank and World Bank, right, in Gujarat. By the way, I am from Gujarat. Okay, so those who want to know it. So, but to perform this audit, why I'm telling is that we don't have the historic trend or complete information beforehand to us, right? This most of the time in the special assignment with the chartered accountants are into it. Okay, risk management services, setting up policies and procedure, succession planning. Some of the chartered accountants are into it. Okay, and of course, valuation and M&A exercise. All these require lateral thinking in some or other way, in varying degree, of course. So it is ideal where historic trends or complete information are not available. So now this is the question for us. I have two questions, but please don't Google it, right? So let's test our creativity. And Gauravji, whoever replies, you can just give me replies, at least 5 or 6.
Yeah, definitely, sure.
So first is that, and you also can reply. A baby falls out of a window of a 20-story building, but yet he survives. How it is possible? So please reply in the chat box. Baby falls out of a window, small baby, of a 20-story building, and yet he survives, small baby, an infant. So don't take too much time. And you will not get any prize if you Google it. So please don't do it. We all are professionals, right? Idea is to sharpen our creativity skills. See, one of the biggest bottlenecks of the creativity is the fear of failure. We have the liberty to make mistake. Like I said, there is no prize. There is no penalty also if you are wrong. So
The question is very good. So
yeah,
I can recall this question from one of the YouTube means I was listening this YouTube video and someone
yeah,
asked her
yeah.
कि मतलब मुझे खिड़की के बाहर कूदना है, मतलब मुझे खिड़की से कूदना है, तो अभी कैसे? तो दो कैंडिडेट थे उसमें एंड दे रियलाइज कि खिड़की से कूदना है तो बस किधर कूदना है, तो एक जो है बाहर कूदने का सोच रहा था, दूसरे ने बोला मुझे खिड़की से कूदना है ना, तो मैं खिड़की में चढ़ के मैं अंदर ही कूद जाऊंगा.
See, this is very important. Gauravji is, a good round of applause to Gauravji. Gauravji is applying the completely out of the box thinking. Okay. So thank you, Gauravji. Here, in the interest of time, let me proceed for the answer. See, the answer is that it is a 20-story building, but it's quite possible that he is falling from the ground floor. Now, it's not mentioned over here that the baby is falling from 20th floor, right? What is saying that baby falls out of a window of a 20th story building, right? So if the window is on ground floor, quite possible, and we all wish that baby survives. So creativity and innovation skill is all about thinking differently, and also very important, as you observed here, to listen or to read in an attentive manner, right? Gauravji has listened these things, so he has come out with a very wonderful idea. Yeah. Second is that, again, a man is sentenced to death. He must choose between 3 options. So he doesn't have any other option but to choose only 3, and death is confirmed for him. A room with firing squad and guns means there will be in the one room, there will be 8 to 10 people with guns loaded, and for him. Another is with the room is with blazing fire, where if he enters, he will die very soon. And third is a room with tigers who have not eaten for 6 months, hungry tigers, right? As it is saying. So to survive, of course, which option he should pick? So just think for a minute here. Gauravji, any thought?
The questions are very interesting, sir.
Yeah.
So again, इसके ऊपर मेरे को याद आया.
See, what you've done now, Gauravji, sorry to interrupt. What you've done, just do again. Read it very, very attentively listen. I mean, listen to me, and then here you read it. I'm sure you will find idea because you are trying to think creatively. Friends, please pass on your comments. Don't hesitate. Let this not be a monologue. So even if you are wrong, no problem.
सर जो फर्स्ट वाला
Yeah.
है ना, तो फर्स्ट वाले में बोलता है रूम, क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि द पर्सन, उसको फांसी की सजा सुनाई जा रही है,
Hmm.
उसको अभी बचना है, तो बचने में
Yeah.
क्या करेगा कि कोई एग्रेसिव बंदा होगा तो सामने बंदूक मिला तो सामने वाले को ही मार दे, तो वो तो सर बड़ा मुश्किल है।
Exactly.
ब्लेजिंग फायर है तो उसमें खुद भी मर जाएगा वो। तीसरा है सर, अ रूम विद
Good point. I
टाइगर्स।
like I like I like second point, although it's not correct. See, there is
सी
no
उसमें
again,
भी
there is no
उसमें भी
100%
बचने के
correct.
चांसेस हैं,
But
करेक्ट, बट सर
second
द
one,
थर्ड पॉइंट इज अ
hmm,
रूम विद टाइगर्स हु हैवंट ईटन फॉर 6 मंथ। मतलब
hmm.
6 महीना खाना नहीं खाया तो फिर जिंदा कैसे रहेगा सर?
Exactly. Big round of applause. So he should straight away choose three because no tiger can survive if he has not eaten the food for 6 months, right? So again, the point here is that don't think anything is true. Like in first question, the linear thinking, if we apply, would be like that. Of course, how can say he cannot survive? Okay, that's the answer is, or somebody will think that there may be some gnats over here, right? So if he jumps and if there is any net to protect, he will survive. Okay, that is also one of the creative thinking. So see, this proves the point that as far as creative thinking is concerned, there cannot be only one particular answer, right? So in question one, the correct answer is that quite possible that the he's falling from the floor, but floor itself is on the ground floor. So he survived. Second correct answer can be that also that even if he falls from the higher floor, okay, might be the net to protect him, right? So that's how we think creatively. Second one also, in fact, Gauravji gave both the right answer. He mentioned about the blazing fire, where the person himself who is putting the fire may also die, right? So it is also a good option, but the correct option which he replied, thank you, Gauravji, is to the third one. So this is some of the exercise for us. Now let's move on the type of the innovation as we see here. Product innovation, process, as you can see, when we think of innovation, we can think of only one particular type that, okay, we will develop maybe new products. That's where our thinking ends, probably, right? But innovation is about all these types: product innovation, process innovation, business model innovation. We'll see this three in a little detail later on, so I'm not touching upon it. Service innovation. What do we mean by service innovation is that, for example, especially during COVID time, we had doctors who were rendering their services online, right? We had some of the technicians who were giving us consultancy online, right? Classic case of the service innovation. Incremental innovation means the innovation which is taking place in a small and steady manner, in a slow manner, okay? And then it is not stopped. It is not a radical innovation. It's not completely transformative innovation, but slowly, and in a gradual manner, the innovation take, which is called in disruptive innovation. Again, very important. We'll touch upon in a little detail later. So I'm just keeping it aside. Computing innovation. What do we mean by is computing innovation means where the programming language is into place. Okay. So where there is a use of, let's say, Java or coding, that's called the computing innovation. Artificial intelligence, machine learning can also be one of the thing into computing innovation. Technological innovation. So all this, if we see computing, technology, and digital, all this sounds similar and more or less they overlap. But main important difference is that in technological innovation, you give the benefit of technology, which is not limited to the coding or programming language. Okay. For example, if I can think about technological evolution in agriculture, right, at government level, Internet over Things and application of technology into smart city initiative. Classic example of technological innovation. All right. Digital innovation, as we all know, digital transformation, which is more or less the same. artificial intelligence, machine learning, augmented reality, Internet over things, robotics. These are all digital innovation. Innovation also in the social media. Yeah. So when social media was invented, kind of thing, I still remember we had one application called Orkut somewhere back in 2000s, maybe 5 or 6 or so, right? And now we have so many social media platform. In fact, world lives on social media. Social media nowadays is so much into phenomena that we are having sometime the seminars on how to save ourselves from the ill effects of social media. So you have, of course, the WhatsApp and Facebook and LinkedIn, and there are many other, Viber and what's not. So big evolution is there in this three area: computing innovation, technological innovation, and digital. Social innovation means the innovation which is going to have the societal impact. Societal impact means the impact which is not only limited to the organization, but to the entire society, right? Which makes the life of the people easier. So I was one of the speakers recently into the research committee of ICI on this matter. And there we analyzed the societal innovation and the steps which any government can take to improve the life of the people, right? Even if it can be life of the villager also, who probably has nothing to do with what do we mean by product innovation and backward integration. He doesn't know it and he did not to know. But if any innovation is improving his or her life, finally, very important is the open innovation, where the ideas are stemmed. Ideas are stemmed. Class of open innovation, where even the fountain what we see, where the drinks is coming from the fountain, it is okay to many other stakeholder, but a common man, right? And Coca-Cola take it to the next level. This open innovation, where some of the outlets we can innovate and you invite the ideas from all of them. So these are the type of innovation. As I said, for us, mainly we have to understand between the product innovation, process innovation, and the business modeling innovation. Product innovation is the new product or improvement, more customers, and it's growth centric. Let's say after an earlier version, a new iPhone is launched, right? So this is a classic case of the product innovation. Then we have the process innovation, which may not be exactly visible to the customer or to the outside world, but let's say, for example, change in the assembly line of the car manufacturer. One of the example of process innovation, where you streamline the process, you make the lean organization. See, nowadays there is concept of lean organization or the lean structure of the organization. That's where the process innovation takes place. While the product innovation results into the increase in top line, increase into the market of the entity growth. Process innovation often entails into reduction in the cost. And business model innovation requires more funding. It will change the very functioning of the organization, transformative in nature and rapid. So these are brief innovation types. Then why I called it oxymoron, disruptive innovation. We will just touch upon it. Because innovation means to do something new. Okay, what do we mean by oxymoron for that matter? For those who don't know, oxymoron is a word which is opposite in nature, right? So if it means that, okay, to give us our example, negative chartered accountant is an oxymoron, because chartered accountant cannot be negative. Chartered accountant cannot be less in spirit. High-spirited chartered accountant, if you use this word, okay, it is not an oxymoron. So the first word and second words are when opposite in nature. Okay, they call it oxymoron. On a lighter note, somebody even told me happily married is an oxymoron because married person cannot be happy. That's on a lighter note to give you example of oxymoron. So why this can be, because innovation means to do something new and disrupt means to abandon or leave a practice. So disruptive innovation. Normal innovation is need based. Disruptive innovation is always constraint based. There are plethora of example, friends. Okay, you all know, remember, those who are senior to me in the audience, they all remember that how Maruti 800 came into Indian market many years back, because people, those who cannot afford the Ambassador or Padmini at that time, Fiat, whatever model were there, okay, that's how for them Maruti came into picture. Hindustan Unilever and Nirma. Nirma is, was very prominent. The cost of Hindustan Unilever soap was quite higher, not affordable to the mass Indians. Okay. Nirma rolled out its product at 1/4 of the price. Disruptive innovation, right? And it was also constraint based here. Is that the example? Because constraint was, with that price, what Hindustan Unilever had, you cannot tap the Indian market. So they made an affordable version to it, right? Bringing, it was new use of the same kind of product. Okay. Third example is that at that time, shampoo used to come in a bottle. Okay, that costed us a few bucks. But I think Cheek or some shampoo came into picture with a pack of shampoo of 2 rupees at that point of time, right? Again, there's one example of disruptive innovation. So Airbnb, as we mentioned, is classic case of disruptive innovation, where you try to tap the neglected or virgin markets, those who cannot afford or those who are out of the territory, domain products to it. Okay. Again, what is the longevity of them? It is until new innovation comes, because innovation is always into phases. Cannibalization. What do we mean by cannibalization? Is that those of you don't know, cannibalization means we abandon certain product when new product comes. Classic case of the automobile sector, okay, or the mobile, like even in case of Hero Honda. So I used to drive CD100 Hero Honda when I was young. I'm still young, by the way, but still, few 15 years back. Afterwards, that model was stopped by Hero Honda, right? That's called cannibalization, because that model was stopped to encourage a higher version or a better model, right? So this is the disruptive innovation, and just few examples. Many examples are there. Okay, few of them are only that Amazon, Uber. Nobody imagined that we will be able to rent a taxi by Uber or Ola or whatever. Okay, just by mobile app, right? Disruptive innovation. Tesla, classic case. Virtual health checkup, as I already mentioned, and of course our Zoom, through which I am connected to all of you, right? It came into picture when, I think, when COVID came in, COVID-19, where there is a physical restrictions was there. And still it is continued. So these are the few examples of this. I mentioned about, now I will take the industry case, backward integration, how it takes place, and no price for guessing. I already mentioned, but this is our Reliance Industries Limited. Started from a textile company to manufacture the textile. See, first of all, we have to understand that there are two types of integration. Okay. One is the horizontal integration and another is the vertical integration, right? Horizontal integration means you expand the company by acquiring another company. Okay. It is called horizontal integration. So if you see the organogram, or if you see the chart of organization, horizontally, you are widening your organization by acquiring another company, by developing probably new business line. Okay. Whereas the vertical integration is also of two types. One is forward integration and another is a backward integration. Forward integration means after the manufacture, you roll out the new product, you collaborate with others, Okay, you grow in a vertical manner into the chain of the manufacturing, right from the input till the after sales service. Backward integration, what is the case over here is that on demand, okay, but also started exporting oil to many countries, right? So that is the advantage of backward integration. Classic case, again, I'm telling, if you want to understand what is backward integration, why Reliance has been so successful. Yesterday we had result of Reliance, by the way, those who are into stock market. Okay. Why it was so successful? One of the reasons is because of the backward integration. What happened in case of Jio, for that matter, right? Again, same strategy, same innovation style. Jio was established little later, but first company established the auction rights into the telecom, right? Probably somewhere in 2010, if I can recollect correctly. Then it set up the whole infrastructure for the telecommunication. Okay, so by doing this, they eliminate the vendors who were doing the infrastructural service for the telecom sector, right? Completely, they eliminated all the middlemen, right? Third step is they started manufacturing their own smartphones, JioPhone, correct? And finally, to take it to the next level, they also acquired the digital content. See the vision, see the strategy. From acquiring the auction rights for the 4G a decade back, they are also transforming the whole telecom sector, right? By very proven strategy of backward integration. Why I'm explaining all this to you, friends? Because we chartered accountants sometimes limit ourselves only to the numbers, right? It's a harsh reality. Another harsh reality, which we may not like to hear properly, is that why there are so many less startup founders from chartered accountants. Yeah, chartered accountants are startup mentors, but relatively, there are not many founders, many startup founders who are also chartered accountants. Things are again are changing in a positive manner. As I said, the whole ecosystem is changing. So that's why, unless we understand the business model of successful enterprise, unless we think out of the box, unless we innovate, unless we realize our hidden potentials, right? We are not, we are second to no one, right? We cannot spread our wings into the different domain. So this is the backward integration case study which I presented to you. And what are the advantages? Brief advantages. First, of course, is the innovation, right? Innovation about the products, cost advantage by economies of scale. As I mentioned, in case of polyester business, that's why it is called the organization from polyester to petrochemicals, in case of Reliance. Similarly, they call Tata an organization from salt to software. There also you can see all these instances. Completely, they have eliminated the middleman and the cost associated with it. Because everything what others should do, the material which others should supply, they started doing in-house by expanding their own capacity. So the massive cost advantage they've gained due to this. And not only this, I mean, whichever entity perform this perform this backward integration, economies of scale, right? Differentiation. By this, they've distinguished themselves from competitors also by completely different products, right? And of course, better control over the things because let's say, for example, here in case of Reliance, they need not to have a reliance on the outside vendors. So they are less dependent on others. So that's why this strategy, there are few cons also, but of course, the benefits will far outweigh the cost. Another thing here is only that, just 1 minute. Another thing what we have to understand here is that probably one limitation. Now, I would not call it a limitation, but one of the things which we have to keep in mind for backward integration is the funding of the projects, because it's not everyone's cup of tea. If Reliance could do it, it does not mean that all organizations will be able to do this backward integration in a successful manner. And this is also not done in a year or two. It was practiced, as I mentioned, a decade back, right? But not all can do it. So this is one of the things which we have to keep in mind is the funding of the organization, funding of the innovation. But the positives far outweigh the bottlenecks. So this is one example that how, and this example of the business model innovation. Sambitji, you can tell me when Anuj sir comes, huh? I think. Pooja Agarwal ji, we is she
You can
new?
continue. You can continue up to 12:50.
Yeah, please. You tell him because Chairman sir should come. Pooja Agarwal ji is a new somebody has joined from your branch, Gaurav ji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Pooja ji. And like Gaurav ji, Chairman ji was quite interactive. Please feel free to share your points also, share your feedback, share questions also, which you may have. We all are chartered accountants, so we all are here to learn, right? Now,
Yes,
this
sir.
is, yeah, sure. Thank you. This is one of the rules over here. I'll just see the timing. As I mentioned that I am going to mention about some of the rules of how to hone the innovation skills. Sorry. One of them is 70-20-10 rules. Okay, so basically 70-20-10 rules basically, just to digress a matter a bit, it is originally invented in the context of learning. So they say that 70% of the learning comes from the on-the-job training. So I take this opportunity to explain the root of this rule for that matter. 70% is from the on-the-job learning, problems, how you learn, how you evolve, how you be successful. 70% from the on-the-job by solving the problem, by taking a challenging assignment, by failing sometimes, and then by being successful. 20% comes from the collaboration with others, right? So you collaborate with others, you coach others, you mentor others, and you also have someone who can mentor you, right? Give feedback. Peer-to-peer feedback is one of the things where we learn from others, right? Coaching and interaction with people who are into different domain, people who are into, let's say, if we are into finance, interaction with procurement, interaction with IT department, interaction with HR, this falls into this 20%. And 10% is from the external source. You attend seminars like this, what we are attending now, e-modules, online workshop like this, or offline seminars of ICI, of other business council event. So this is the rule which was originally for the learning. It is also very important to understand from learning context, 70%, again I am repeating, is from the on-the-job learning. You learn yourselves by way of problem solving skill, by way of taking the challenging assignment. 20% you learn from others while interaction and by sharing the knowledge and by gaining the knowledge from others. And 10% you learn which is from the external sources. So this is very important for us to understand. Now, how about the innovation? Just 1 minute. Sorry, someone is calling me 3-4 times. Madhu, tell me. I'm a speaker in a webcast. So I'll call you after 1 hour. Okay. Sorry for that interruption. 70%, 20%, 10% in the context of innovation means that 70% is from your core activity. So they say that it was actually popularized by Google, one of the most innovative enterprises of the world, Google Incorporation, that they say that don't do transformational innovation just at the first step. Okay. 70% should be relating to your core products, core processes, core services, and 20% should be uh, related to your adjacent or ancillary activities, and 10% should be for your expansion. So this is one of the example, one of the thumb rule of innovation. If we like to understand this, now it is because it is just a thumb rule, okay, kind of. So what are the factors which will determine that whether this particular rule is good or not, or whether it is applicable in all scenario? So although it is a very time-tested rule, especially for the small and medium organization. Now imagine yourself, we all are probably most of us are chartered accountant here over here. I mean, into the practice, all of us are CA, but you should do also 70% of your innovation. You allocate this time and resources to your core activities, 20% to the ancillary activities, and 10% to the expanding yourself or new activities or new domains, right? Now, what are the factors? So as I mentioned, he is the former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, who popularized it. And this first is the talent management. So this is one particular factor which will determine whether this is good or not. Because as we know, for the transformational initiative, the 10% over here, right? We need a very specialized pool of talent. Core team member, those who can add to your existing product or services, may or may not necessarily have the strategic vision which will help organization carry out the transformational initiative. So that is for there. Another important thing is the business sector in which you are into it. Now we all know that the technological sectors is thriving. Technological sector, in fact, most of the startups in India and unicorns are from this sector of late, correct? So it means that they are carrying out the transformational initiative. But if you are into, let's say, manufacturing concern, where processes are very, very important, where manufacturing happens, where raw material happens, input, output happens, as against from the service industry. So the business sector is very important. So probably this rule will hold true in a more sense into the manufacturing concern, right? Life cycle of the company is very important for the new startups, okay, and those who want to achieve the path-breaking growth, let's say. For them, transformation innovation can be more than 10%, right? But if any company which is well-established one, it's better to start or to have the mix of core activity, ancillary activity, and the transformation. More important here, another factor is your risk appetite. As we can all easily make out, innovation into your core activities, your core products, processes, your core chain of the events or cycle will be less riskier than the one into for the transformational activity or new activity or the activity which will completely change the functioning of the organizations. That's why I mentioned that IT sector, okay. If you see into growth of IT sector, it is not only limited to fintech. There are a lot of startups which are coming now, which are into health tech. We have classic case of Byju, which is into ed tech, educational tech, right? Another matter that it is failed, and there are governance matter and all these things, but it's a big name into the education sector. In fact, we had in Qatar FIFA 2022, where they were one of the sponsors, or rather the only Indian sponsor was the Byju. So you can see the size which it is having. And of course, the funding. So for the new initiative, 10%, which you can see over here, there will be more funding requirement, right? Again, one quote over here from Steve Jobs: innovation is the ability to see the change as an opportunity, but not as a threat. Very simple quote, but also very profound quote this is. Because innovation, what we should see is as an opportunity which is long-term in nature to add value to ourselves, to improvise we as an individual, and of course, to add value to our client also, right? And not as a threat. One example, because this whole session I have conducted in a practical manner, I would say, illustration-led manner, not a theoretical one, and the audience is quite scholarly one. So I am from Qatar, as I said, and see how an innovative thinking can help not only individuals, not only institutions, but the country as a whole. So, for instance, 2016, the blockade was imposed on Qatar. Blockade means that Qatar is, by the way, the country which is having the land border only with Saudi Arabia, because the peninsula. So, three sides we are having sea, like peninsula. Yeah, so all of you can understand Gulf, typical Gulf, where three sides are covered by sea and one side is connected with Saudi Arabia. So on 5th June of that particular year, 2017, all the borders was blocked due to some geopolitical crisis or reason. So it is 90% of the food items were coming from that route into Qatar. So what will happen to people like me and all, a nearly 3 million population, right? Nothing was manufactured over here. 80 to 90% or even more of the food items, including milk, were imported from Saudi Arabia and other countries. That route was blocked, right? This is called a blockade. But due to this crisis, which is, I would say, unprecedented in nature, what happened next and how leadership has identified an opportunity to be self-sufficient from this crisis is what I'm going to explain to the next slide. As I said, opportunity in adversity, just like, here. June 2017, Qatar had 10% self-sufficiency only, or even less than that, as far as the milk and milk products are concerned. Qatar has imported, some of you may know, nearly 4,000 cows. 4,000 cows were airlifted, just like when we travel from a flight. 4,000 cow within a year or less traveled from US, from Germany to Qatar, right? So that Qatar need not to be dependent on others. Like same, to put in a context, we say about Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? Similarly, this was also one of the measures where country intend to achieve the self-sufficiency into that. But due to this crisis, that 4,000 cows number rose currently to 22,000 cows, as you can see over here. There is a big farm, huge farmhouse into the north of Qatar. Not only Qatar achieved self-sufficiency, just after 2 years in March 2019, first export of the products were made to another country. Phenomenal growth due to this adversity, but due to the vision which was having a shade of innovation into it. Company was launched a long back earlier. IPO, which it went to increase the capacity, it went to public in October 2019. And Baladna is now a listed company over here. Again, after 2 years, what happened? Just from 10% self-sufficiency in June 2017, just after 4 years, it achieved 90% self-sufficiency. See the result of innovation. But if the leadership can do, if the entrepreneurs can do, why chartered accountants cannot do? In our day-to-day work, see, we need not to be very big in size to practice the innovation. Please understand it. It will come in the next slide. But in here, not only it limited to Qatar, expanded to Malaysia also. Other countries wanted to learn from it. Just for example, UPI innovation launched by our Honorable PM. Other countries are learning from it, right? So this is also one of the path-breaking innovation. In June 2017, as I mentioned, the volume increased to 5 times of the cows, and a massive facility was set up in Algeria. So classic example that how an innovation can transform the economy. Similar case I discussed elsewhere is about the defense sector, which is thriving in India, right? And you see the cases of those who you know, Hindustan Aeronautics, Bharat Dynamics, Mazagon Dock Shipyard, Data Patterns. So the whole area of defense, be into the manufacturing of aircraft, manufacturing of the earth moving machine, Bharat Earth Moving Limited we have, or into the technological side of defense, where we have Data Patterns and Nazara Technology, how they are thriving and contributing, thanks to the vision of our government, Indian government. There is concept of Global Innovation Index are there. 2022 figures are out, and these are the world's topmost innovative economies. No doubt, friends, they are also prosperous economies. Okay, but I will present you the figure of India, and you will be happily receive it. So this is the Global Innovation Index and quantum leap, if we can say so, by India. In 2015, it was ranked 81 out of nearly 140 countries. As far as innovative practices are concerned, India was ranked at 81, and just within 8 years or 9 years, while continuously improving, it reached at the rank of 40th, which is really, for the country of our size and scales, we should be extremely proud of this fact. Not only it is a 1 year improvement, but if you see, it is continually improving, right? It is one of the, by the way, Global Innovation Index is one of the measure where there are around 60 parameters, right, on the basis of which countries fared. And we will see some of them in a later slide. So this is the area of strength and, of course, weakness of India. Strength area, lower middle income, they are categorized into the 4 groups, by the way. We are into lower middle group, income group, and there are 37 countries which are into it. Out of them, we were ranked first. So it means that we will definitely move next time into the middle income group and beyond. And why not? When we are 5th largest economy currently there, when Modi ji has envisioned to make our country a 3rd largest economy by 2028, and when he has also envisioned the country to be $30 trillion economy by 2047, quite possible this. Okay, we fared also well into ICT service export. ICT means information, communication, and technology service export. What TCS, Infosys, and HCL are doing, it is evident over here. India is the technology leader of the world. VC received means venture capital received. India ranked very, and these are global ranks. So out of so many countries, we are ranked 6th, which is a great sign. Startup finance, as I mentioned, the number of unicorns have come down, unfortunately, due to valuation issues, but number of startups are increasing. And certain countries are having talking about innovation, certain countries are having that, I would say, that inbuilt culture of startup. For example, Israel. Most of the startups in US are probably from Israel. And you see the number of startups in Israel, a very small country, you will be surprised to me. Unicorn valuation, we fared well. Diversification, because we are very proud of our diversity of India in every manner. So industry diversification also we ranked very good. Certain weaknesses also where we have to improve out of 140 countries. And these are all not related to the economy per se, but you will see relating to the human side or the societal impact of the innovation, right? So innovation has to be in 360-degree manner, right? It cannot be only that we innovate and we prosper only economically, but we fare behind in all this. Tertiary inbound mobility means what, friends? How many number of students from foreign countries are coming to India to study? We have to improve. So it means our education system has to be revamped. The new education policy 2020 has come. There's a long way to go. These are incremental changes. Female employed, we are very proud that 1/3, every 3 chartered accountant is 1 out of 3 is a female, but we have to be really improve on as far as the gender diversity is concerned as compared to many other countries. Unless any country, any organization promotes, or any individual for that matter, like all of us, believes in diversity, they cannot prosper. There is no second thought on it. Teaching, again, is relating to their We fared well in information technology exports, but information technology access to the last person on the queue, we have to improve. We have to make a knowledge incentive employment and also promote the research activity. I happen to be speaker on the research committee of ICI. You all contribute being a chartered accountant to the research initiative of ICI as well. But still, we are going great and we will go greater. There is no doubt about it. Unicorn story, as I mentioned, see the number of unicorns over here. 2021, we registered so many unicorns. Okay, nearly 45. What happened in 2022? And then in 24, we still now have only 3 unicorns. But it's a global phenomenon. Again, I'm saying reduced number of unicorn does not mean that startup ecosystem, the entrepreneurial mindset, the innovation culture into the country takes time in getting interwoven, right? So this highest number of unicorns were there. Not only it was the highest, but if you put the total of all the preceding years, 2021 was the highest in numbers. So if you combine with up to 15 to 20, still 21 was the highest. What's in it for us? We mentioned about the global case studies. We mentioned about the thriving Indian enterprises. We took learning from corporate culture in a very direct manner. Although all this would also be applicable to us. Whether you are a CS in practice, first of all, to be innovative, as we saw in the case of Airbnb, you got to think big. Thinking does not cost you anything. Thinking is only limited by your mindset. So change your mindset, think big, think radical, think transformational. Okay, they say that, as I mentioned earlier, then think at least 100 times. Because if you can at least think 100 times, then only you can go 10 times, which is also not a small achievement, right? Today, if you can take case of any successful CA firm and compare with the small and medium CA firm, okay, that point of time, many years back, they were also small, right? But with the right vision, right synergy, right collaboration, right strategy in place, probably they achieved greater heights. So why not you? You can do it just by thinking big. Okay. Invest in technology. Very important for those CAs into practice. Invest more and more resources. By resources, I don't mean only funding, your time, your learning activities and resources and the talent pool into the technology. Technology is not only is going to be the future for all of us, but it was and it will remain as the backbone of the finance professionals, right? Explore new avenues. Don't limit yourselves by, by practicing innovation. Don't limit yourselves only 1 or 2 domain like attestation service or internal audit or written filing. Continuously keep on exploring the new avenues, new domains, how you can make a difference to the clients in their whole business, not only in the compliance related work. That's what I meant. High quality deliverables. Friends, quality of deliverables determine the standing of the firm, as they say, right? So quality of your, let's say, valuation report, your internal audit report, how you draft it, how you present it in the board meeting, how you present yourselves and the company's case to the management will determine your and your firm's standing. And that's where the soft skills play a pivotal role. And that's why we have this committee also. So high quality deliverables is extremely important. This is one of the key factor which will distinguish probably mediocre firm, if I may say so, to the firm which is into the high growth. CAs into industry like me, as I'm a group financial controller of conglomerate, cross-functional knowledge. To be innovative, always have the cross-functional knowledge. That will enhance your creativity. Then sector-specific interaction with others. Very, very important. Take the initiative. Okay, don't be the one who will be assigned one work. Be the one who take charge of the work. Okay. present your case, if because all the CAs are not CAs are not like an accountant or a cashier also. We all chartered accountants are into industry, are finance manager, financial controller, finance director, CFOs. So all these things are very, very important. New age CFO acquire the skills which are in demand for the new age CFO. That is important. So take the initiative. Sector specific interaction is very, very important because each sector has a different story to tell. I am into FMCG sector. So recently I had an opportunity to network and to meet fellow professional only into that sector. So we were invited by Amazon. I represented my company. So in that, we had interaction only with the FMCG C-suite executives, right? So it's very important to have and that will make you innovative. That will give you business insight. Take the initiative, mentor or train the team. It doesn't cost you anything, right? Share your knowledge. Probably you will also learn something from the one who is sharing the knowledge. Don't have that, that sense of entitlement that I'm the CFO of the company. Why I can not learn from others. Friends, they say that when you teach on where you share the knowledge, two learns. So two people learns out of it, right? Newly qualified CAs, it's very important again to think for long term, learn more and more skills. You got to distinguish yourself between knowledge and skills, friends, and that's for everyone. Knowledge is chartered accountancy is a knowledge, it's a qualification, a very coveted one. Professional qualification, which because of that we have knowledge into accounting standard, taxation, auditing, and what's not. Soft skills, technological skills are the skills. To be a successful professional, you got to learn everything. You got to have right amount of knowledge and you got to continuously sharpen your skills. Voluntary activity, develop a creative hobby that will help you have innovation mindset. Very important. This is for those who are entrepreneurs. That's why, because CAs are into quite diverse areas. Listen and seek feedback. Listening is very, very important, as we saw in the case of Adidas, right? Continuously listen to your stakeholders, your customers, your prospective customers. Invest in technology, remains same. Disruptive skills or products, right? Launch something which is disruptive in nature. We have learned what is disruptive innovation. And of course, innovation is all about mindset. It all take birth in your mind first, and then it happens into a reality. So have that mindset which respects, which encourages the innovation. One of the skills which I mentioned, and I happen to be actually an author on this skill for one of the chapters, which is about the storytelling skills in finance, and new age skills for 21st century CFO. What is this? Why it is important? Because we are living into the world which is having overload of data, of information nowadays from different sources. Sometimes we don't know which information is relevant or not. We don't know which information is correct or not, right? So there are a lot of misinformation and disinformation about the data. That's why this skill is very important. Numbers are important, but numbers alone are not important. What is important is that how you interpret the numbers, how you take an actionable insight from the numbers, right? Diverse stakeholders with which chartered accounts are required to deal, who may or may not have the knowledge about the numbers, right? So it depends on what you are producing. Suppose you are making a valuation report of the company. Now the reader of the report will be the CFO. So you can have the finance terms or the jargon into it, no issue. But for any sales or marketing reports, if you are required to make it with finance insight, the audience will not be a finance person. It will be a sales manager or marketing director, right? So you got to deal with diverse set of stakeholders. That's why the storytelling is important. It often happens that you give the insight, because we all are CFOs and finance manager, to a higher level person or a manager, who in turn requires to cascade it. Cascade means to share it further down to his team member. right? So cascading of the information is extremely important here. And for that, you got to have the storytelling skill. And then very important is the humanizing the finance function. So I was invited for a podcast recently that how a finance leader can humanize the function. Okay, so this is what it is. That's why this skill is very, very important. Not all can have it. We talk about the competitive age of the enterprises. If you want to have the competitive edge within yourselves, this storytelling skills is very important, where you can distinguish yourself as a candidate from other professionals. And just there's a last slide on storytelling skills. What is contextualize the narrative, know your audience, okay, translate the numbers into compelling narratives by using the data visualization skills, by using the PowerPoint or any visualization mode. Put the characters and plot and what is the actionable insight. You are telling that, let's say, the return on equity is very less. It is, let's say, 5%, but ideally it should be 15%. So that is the number you are projecting. But what management will do out of it? You got to recommend it. You got to knowing the audience, and you have to build the narrative that why it is less. Okay. And by visualization tool, you need to project it. Then where it will lead. So it is less. Yes, it is less in your opinion, but what is the actionables which can be done to increase it? So that's how you sell your function as a finance person, right? And make yourself visible and achieve the professional growth for yourself and also for your organization. So it's very important. This particular skill, you can Google it for more, to know more. Storytelling skills for finance people. One of the new age skills. It means that you got to know what are the drivers which drives the number. You need not to limit yourselves only to the numbers, but to something which tells a story that how these numbers are generated, where it will lead us, and what if we don't reach there. So that's my next slide is. So they call it 4-what strategy in storytelling. What happened means from where the numbers are generated, what are the implications? So if, let's say, if the financial performance is not at desired level, what are the implications if it continues? What if means the scenario analysis, right? Some of you may know it. And what are the actionables which we have to take from this? So that's how you build the narrative and you tell the story or tell the drivers behind your number in an emphatic manner. Barriers to innovation. First is the fear. So the fear to be reprimanded, fear to be punished. It's a big barrier in the innovation. Where there is a liberty to make mistake, innovation thrives in that atmosphere. Where there is a culture not to punish the failures. And that's why on a lighter note, some of the CAs, someone like me, who may have seen more than one attempts in clearing our CA final, so they can be better innovator because we are not fearful now, right? Personal biases and beliefs. Okay, so you evaluate the person and not the idea due to your personal biases. That's a big barrier into the innovation. Time pressure. Yes, our work is always measured by the deadline, and deadline is extremely important, most important probably, but not in all cases, because creativity takes time in getting generated. Ideas can take time in getting generated in our mind and then getting implemented. Basking on the past glory, right? So that is one of the very important things. If you've done something good, we think that we will continue to do the good only. That's what we call basking on the past glory. Not necessarily. You got to learn continually, got to work hard continuously. They say no, that when we were doing CA, we thought that life would be easy after clearing it. And that's why we were motivated. That एक बार CA हो जाएंगे ना, तो फिर सब अच्छा रहेगा. हाँ, अच्छा ही रहने वाला है. But our journey to improve Sometimes our journey to struggle doesn't end there. So don't bask on the past glory. It is the biggest barrier in the innovation. Short-term thinking, innovation is always about long-term, right? For the good innovation, the impact of good innovation should always continue for a fairly long time. So it's always should always be long-term in nature. This is two words which have been coined: innovation privileges versus innovation community. So innovation privileges means what? In organization, it is thought that innovation is the right of only of the people who are at top. Certainly not to, as I mentioned earlier. Last person on the queue, probably the most downtrodden person in the organization, the last one in that organization chart, okay, maybe he can have great ideas. Okay, so if the organization is having the culture of innovation privilege, that it is limited only to the few people, it is a big barrier. Community means it is widespread. The culture is widespread, right from the top to bottom. Innovation theatrics. What do we mean by theatrics? Means, to put in a slightly casual way, drama. Excessive gestures. So that's called theatrics. Here, what it means, innovation theatrics is meaning of it is innovation only on the paper. Right? So organization promotes that we are innovative just by some tagline, just by some slogan, just by some photo opportunity, just by some social media coverage. But in actual, if there is no innovation on a day-to-day basis in an incremental manner, it is called innovation theatrics. It is a biggest barriers. Innovation skills for individuals: always seek opportunities, be constantly curious, take risk. Innovation is all about taking risk, whether you are into industry, whether you are into the practice. Like, embrace the failure. No success can happen without a shade of failure. Okay, and only when sometime the failure comes, the test of success will be sweeter. So success is when it is followed after the failure, is more sweet, and it's more long lasting and more satisfying also. So don't get deterred by the failure if you got to be innovative. Seek feedback, continuously seek the feedback. Okay. Develop the creative hobby. Creative hobby means be with the nature. If you learn music, if you love music, have a creative hobby to play any instrument. If try to do it. Be with the nature. Be adventurous a little bit. Right? Try to learn something different. Learn different language. That is also one of the adventure which will lead to innovative mindset. And of course, the improve continuously. In an organization, encourage the psychological safety. What do we mean by psychological safety? Psychological safety means the culture where the one who is getting innovative is not reprimanded. It's not getting punished. His innovation is encouraged, right? And he's not suppressed. That's called psychological safety. Be always open to change. Democratize the idea generation. Now that's very important. Means the idea generation should come from every corner and every sphere of the organization. Democratize it. Okay. Should not only limit it to the boardroom, to the top executive. Flex structure, if possible, means that any individual can approach subject to protocol any top level executive. That's called the flat structure. Diversity. Diversity in terms of gender, in terms of region, in terms of background is very, very important. Don't have the groupism. If you want to be innovative, always interact with the people. They say that, if you want to improve, innovate, interact with the people who are from different background from you, whose second language is different than yours, right? And of course, the gender diversity, which is very, very important. No organization can thrive or succeed without the culture of diversity into the long run. It's proven fact. Reward innovation and creativity. And finally, allocate resources. Nothing happens without funding, right? R&D expense for that matter. So allocate the resources. Six thinking heads model, it was discussed earlier. So I'll just briefly touch upon it because it is more into the context of problem solving. So this was again the same gentleman who conceptualized it. The six heads means the how you solve the problem in an innovative manner. The six heads are imaginary heads. वास्तव में ये नहीं है. Okay, it's a metaphor. Okay, so white hat, red hat, black hat. So किसी को hat नहीं पहनना है, but how you solve the problem by considering all these factors. So if there's a group of six people, let's say, one will only state the fact and objectively check the data, which is the white hat, right? Another one, which is with the blue hat, will involve into the direct discussion. They synthesize all the points. Okay. What are the positives of it? It is to be done by the person wearing yellow hat. Again, I'm saying these are the metaphor. Metaphor means, what do you mean by metaphor? Metaphor means something which is not existing as it is. Yeah, so nobody has to wear the hat again, I'm telling. But these are the six groups which will assess the problem, which will state the facts, which will assess the emotional side of the problem, red hat, which will assess the positive side of any scenario by yellow hat, and which will assess the negative side of it by black hat. So very, very effective model for problem solving, and these also encourage the innovation. Sambit ji, abhi aa rahe hain, sir, so we will wait. I'm about to finish now.
Finish it, sir.
Okay. Another thing is that this is what we call brain swarming, not brains, but brain swarming versus brainstorming. So brainstorming में क्या होता है कि we discuss the ideas, but sometimes what happens that the person who is not so confident will hesitate in speaking. So the brainstorming will not be as effective. Brain swarming, what it means is that you list down the ideas. What is your goal? Jot down the resources and then allocate the actionables to it. Some of the last slides. So he's saying that I'm an accountant and not a novelist. So why I got to be creative? I'm sure he will agree if he sees this presentation, right? A fun fact, and this to emphasize the importance of innovation, and you can try it if you're on mobile or laptop. Our eye depends on the constant motion and seeing the difference between the things. Even if you are staring at something, your eyes is probably क्या होता है ना कि our eyeballs actually are continuously moving. So if you stare at something for let's say 10 seconds, okay, the vision gets little bit fade. If you're actually able to still your eyes, means keep it straight, stare at something to a single point, you will find that your vision is gradually fading away, right? Same thing goes with innovation. If you focus only on one thing, by not realizing what is happening around you, your vision gets fade. So there's an anecdote which I used in this context. आप try करके भी देख सकते हो. Just if you keep your eyes straight, keep it for 10 seconds, you will feel that you're not able to see clearly. Same thing is with the innovation using these anecdotes. Innovate or evaporate. The choice is ours, choice is mine, choice is yours, choice is of everybody's. Some of the, I have been always asked that which are the books or resources on particular skills. Many books are like that. Lots of LinkedIn blogs are there, but this particular 3 books I have found very, very impactful on lean startups, from where the good ideas come, from Steven Johnson, and this Innovation and Entrepreneurship by Peter Drucker. But especially the first one is very, very important and it's worth reading. So this is my contact details, my LinkedIn ID are there. I hope that this is the snapshot where I was invited to share my success story with a newspaper on this charting success with myself, yours truly. This is my story. So anyone can get in touch with me. Innovation is again extremely important. We have seen the rules of innovation. We have seen the techniques of innovation. We have also seen the barriers of innovation. And more importantly, we have seen why innovation is important for chartered accountants who is into any particular sector, be it into accounting or auditing, into practice, into industry, right? And we have, more importantly, we have seen the corporate cases from different countries which are successful when they have applied the innovation into their day-to-day work. So, yeah. So, yeah, Gauravji, we can have questions. Anybody can ask the question. Yes, we can take a minute or two. Just you can type your question or any feedback, any disagreement. Yeah.
Sir, although my just wanted to give you one feedback.
Yeah.
So normally, because we are very, you can say that stuck in our day-to-day chores, office works and all. Okay, so I'm also into job. So the thing is, we oftenly seek such type of sessions. And although my camera was not on, but I was trying to capture that, even you can say that, taking a snapshot of your presentation
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
question
Please send
what
me
you have
the
asked.
snapshot. Yeah. Thank you. And whatever
So
you found insightful, please share briefly now or even later. You can. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, sir, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Please go on. What you are telling. Yeah.
So I was saying the session,
Yeah.
I personally liked it बिकॉज मैं तो देखते रहता हूँ कि मतलब मार्केट में क्या चल रहा है नहीं चल रहा है बट ये सारी चीजें हैं व्हेन यू ऑफनली फाउंड with the people who are already having a lot of experience with the Gulf countries. And the thing which I wanted to tell you, entering into the market is one part, but sustaining into the market with your skills, with various types of interpersonal skill or innovation skill. See, ultimately, मेरा सर मानना ये है कि if you want to grow in terms of career, be it a practice or be it a job, you
Yeah.
always think out of the box.
Yeah.
There should be something which should be a key or unique in you.
Exactly. Very well said.
Someone is very
Yes.
good in designing. So, like in case of the PowerPoint presentation, I found most of the time I don't like PPT. I give the consultation and all, but ultimately it's a part of job we need to prepare. But there are a lot of people I have seen who are very good in presentation. How the entire flow of the presentation should go, what images should use, because
Yeah.
and if you're if you're preparing presenting some MIS and all, देयर
Yeah.
कैन बी बोथ टू वेज वन वे इज दैट कि आपने एक्सेल का कॉपी करा और उसको टेबल में पेस्ट करके दे दिया वन
Yeah.
वे इज दैट कि मैं पीपीटी में करूंगा बट उसके साथ में जैसे मैंने बोला कि बजट सो देयर इज अ आइकॉन व्हिच इज रिलेटेड टू बजट सो सेलिंग योरसेल्फ इनटू द मार्केट आई थिंक दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ द इनोवेशन स्किल
Yeah, yeah, you very, very well summarized it, and especially, for chartered accountants, you are also a chairman of the Prayagraj Bank, so you know the leadership aspect also of the innovation. In fact, I
करेक्ट
used to say that why innovation is important even in our chapter functioning or a branch functioning for that matter. So,
yes
thank you. Yeah, yeah,
so even at the branch
yeah,
what
yeah.
did we did a lot of automation in the excel sheet preparing
Mhm.
you can say a lot of earlier there were a lot of paper used to print out then we said ki why we are not using the google sheet and all we have prepared a lot of
Mhm.
formats because we need to send it to the ICIHO for approval so
Correct,
but
correct.
now there's a time for the green we talk more on the green carbon emission and all green economy so this is so in terms of just let me sum up because as of now there is no as such questions
Yeah,
but
yeah, sure,
personally
sure.
if I say to you that with the advent of the globalization and technology advancement of the role of the chartered accountants in
Mhm.
India has evolved the dynamic needs of the economy. CAs are increasingly involved in strategic decision making, risk management, and regulatory compliances, underscoring their significance in driving business growth and sustainability. Innovation is still in the essence of the profession of the chartered accountancy. And the biggest part is that now the role of the chartered accountant is not limited to the numbers which is related to the financials. I know a lot of CFOs, even a lot of companies are now, you can say that finance controller KPI is also the part of operation management.
Very
How
true,
you are
very true.
monitoring the entire losses, although that is not impacting the financials, but yes, that is impacting somehow your P&L. Absurd, just giving you one example, which is in relation to the innovation skill. So in the steel industry, when I was doing the audit, so that particular promoter was just a BCom pass out. And the finance head was the chartered accountant. He was a retired person from some PSUs. What he used to do, he used to monitor the losses generated from coal. The coal,
Oh,
which is one of the high priced material, and see if he can even 0.1 or 0.2% of the proper monitoring. If you can save or in a particular company can save 0.1 or 0.2%, this is the great KPI. बैलेंस शीट तो सर डेटा एंट्री अगर सही हुआ है तो बैलेंस शीट तो प्राइमा फेसी वैसे भी बनी जाएगा.
yeah, correct, correct. True, true.
So these are the things which I have seen since last 7 years how the entire finance functions has evolved.
Mhm.
So just
Correct.
in terms of sir, as a formality, the vote of thanks, I will say
Yeah.
that it is a great, it has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful webcast on the innovation skills for the chartered accountants, which is organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, headed by CA Dr. Anuj Goyal in absentia and Dr. and CA Sripriya ma'am. We would like to extend our heartiest gratitude to our speaker, learned speaker CA Nili Bhatt sir, who is speaking from Doha, Qatar, and the institute who are taking the initiatives to calling the speakers not from India but from the outside world also, because that perspective is also important. A wide round of applause and thanks to organizer of the Professional Skill Management Committee, ICI, and our today's speaker and other stakeholder and the listeners made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank you all of you and present here and helping us this webcast a grand success. And once again, I'll request whenever you will listen this particular webcast, if you found something that yes you want to ask, you can definitely post your questions.
True, true.
Committee will definitely ask these questions and reach out the speaker to resolve this. So once again, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
From the Prayagraj branch, that Prayagraj branch is really happy and to organize this particular type of session.
No, thank you, because last time I had one branch from southern India, so we are also talking a bit about diversity. So we have diversity again, and good to connect with you from a very
Recording
to a very
stopped.
pious city in Prayagraj, I would say. Yeah. So
Definitely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And whenever you will be in, come to India and please visit Prayagraj. And
Sure,
now the
sure,
month
definitely.
will going to start from December to Feb.
Okay, sure. Sambit ji,
So thank you,
thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, Sambit.
Thank you so much, sir.